All right, everybody, this is the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Today is November the 9th, 2023. It is 5:30 p.m. This is the work session of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. First on the agenda this evening is Los Animas County Assessor, Mr. Jody Amata. Thank you for being here tonight. We've tried to accomplish this here for a couple of months, so today it happens.
Today was the day. Hello, thank you everybody for letting me attend. I know we've been trying to make schedules work, so it happened. What would you like to know? Where do you want me to begin? Well, today has been a marathon.
One of them was going to be HH, which is now off the table. So
HH is now off the table, but as of 10 o'clock this morning, the governor did call a special session. Legislation will be convening next Friday at 9 in the morning. We will see where this goes. We will be seeing some sort of property tax relief coming from legislation. That is what we were being told. My first phone call was that we were going to be seeing mill levies, mandated mill levy decreases. I don't know if that will happen. We shall see and wait and see. If that does, that will affect the revenues that Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority collects. Because if mill levies are mandated to be ratcheted down or lowered, that means your increment, what you collect, will be smaller. Because we figure your revenue off of those mill levies. My personal opinion, that's a gross overreach in government control, because most of my entities in Los Animas County have been debruced. The constituents in our county voted within those districts to say those boards have authority to, we feel they do a great job with their revenue and funding, so we don't feel their need to ratchet down the mill levies. But that was one of the options that I was heard might come from this special session. I can tell you as assessors, we are fighting it, and I know there's other entities and groups out there that are going to be pushing back against that one. But just so you're aware, that is something that possibly is on the table as far as mill levies that will affect TURA. The second thing, I have been asked to come and testify at Denver, so I have no problem doing that. As an assessor and as part of the Assessors Association, we might be looking at a mirror of Senate Bill 22-238, which was referred to as the COVID relief bill. And assessors, we implemented it this year, which is removing $30,000 of actual value off of commercial properties, $15,000 off of residential properties, which residential doesn't affect TURA, but the commercial did. Also lowering the assessment rates. So going forward, what we're proposing to legislatures and to the governor and all of the players in this game at the moment is that we mirror Senate Bill 22-238. As assessors, we already have that built into our systems, our computer systems. We've already had to implement it this year for next year's tax bills. So I think we might be seeing a decrease in actual value. I don't know if it's just going to be res or if it's going to apply to commercial businesses, vacant land. We're really not sure how that's going to look yet. More than likely, there will be a decrease in assessment rates. So when we decrease assessment rates and we lower actual value, that in turn constitutes lower revenue, lower taxes, so that will be affecting TURA. You could see lower revenues coming in. At this time, we do not know until we convene that special session. We have requested that we have something as far as assessors to implement this before Thanksgiving, because our timeline to get our certifications to all of our entities is December 10th. We generally like to get those out December 1st. That way it gives all the boards and all of our entities within the county time to convene, have a meeting so you can set your budgets.
Then the county has to certify all the mill levies as well. If they adjust that, or is this just going to be assessment rates?
We have no idea yet. We have no idea. This, nobody knows at the moment.
So just so Steve knows and the county, anybody with a budget, including urban renewal, that could all change.
Yeah. That can all change. And we just got the press release. He did an official statement and a press release at 10 o'clock this morning. My phone actually started ringing at 6. So I have had a very long day of brainstorming, reaching out to my colleagues, reaching out to small districts, reaching out to fire districts to try and come up with a solution, or at least something to take to the table, so we can help guide the legislatures in a positive direction and something that's not going to, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can do something implement something in a timely manner that functions, but also provides tax relief for our constituents and for Coloradoans, because this was a hefty reval year. I mean, we saw values double, and you go anywhere from 30 to 80% here in Los Animas County. So had things been all nice and not changed, TURA could be looking at receiving around $80,000 in 2020 for the tax year 2023. Next year, I don't know where that value or what that revenue is going to look like now.
Well, the good news on that is I estimated going into budget very conservatively at 1/4 of that amount. So, because you and I had
We had that discussion.
right, and so based
Yes.
upon what we've done here in the recent past, because we enjoyed a couple of years that exceeded $40,000.
Right.
And so this past year, it dropped
Significantly.
So that conversation we had, we actually exceeded what we thought we were gonna get in 23 by not much. But going forward, used almost not much of a difference in numbers, knowing that it could possibly be there. But that 80,000 would be a beautiful number. But, you know, luckily, we're pretty pat on our budget right now, and, you know, doesn't mean that, you know, we've got expenses, we've got, hopefully some projects to be participating in, so that would be helpful there to be able to do what we have to do.
Correct.
But like I say, I didn't realize that, you know, that quickly that there would be some kind of retaliation for the failure of HH. I didn't think there was going to be any, actually.
We were anticipating it. We are shocked as quickly as it came. The night that the election finished, the governor, what we were told through our Assessors Association, that there was not going to be a special session. And then the following day, we told we would be seeing executive orders. So there was a lot of groups, other elected officials groups, other associations that have come together and said, instead of an executive order, please let's sit down and let the legislative process do what it is meant to do. Let's sit down, discuss, find a compromise, and at least have input. Because as assessors, we were afraid we were going to get something that we had no way of implementing. Especially if we have to have computer technological changes, system changes, things of that nature. So hopefully my pleas and my other 64 colleagues' pleas have not fallen on deaf ears, and we will probably be attending a fast and furious session under the Gold Dome.
And if history proves it repeats itself under Governor Polis's tenure, the same thing occurred years ago with the oil and gas bill that failed to the voters, and he implemented legislation that did the same thing and crippled a lot of that production. So I see this probably moving forward anyway, in not a positive manner.
No, and that's why we were fighting hard today to allow us to be at the table, we are going to testify one way or another, but also allow us to be part of the process so we can tell them what we can and cannot do. Because assessors, we know better. We are the keepers of the data. We are the valuation specialists. We're the ones that can tell you exactly what is going to happen on the ground. And that's where we need to be heard, because it's going to ultimately fall to us to get the job done. So hopefully it'll be better news. We should know, hopefully we will know something at least by the end of November, because I can tell you myself and 64 assessors, we still want to get our certifications out. That way business as usual can be conducted.
Another question. The information that's compiled is done by Tyler Technologies, right?
That is our system we use for assessment.
Right.
Yes.
Is there not a way for them to be able to, I think somebody from up there answered in the past, but I don't know. You know, I got that table, I think I provided to everybody in the past. There's a table and it just, you know, from the beginning to end, and ultimately it tells us in the end what that percentage is.
Right.
And somewhat of the dollar part. But is there a way there's no way that we can determine what that, like my building, okay?
How much
TURA, how much TIF contribute, or how much it's going to TIF, like for my property? Is
the
there a way to get that?
treasurer should be able to provide you on an individual basis. I don't know if they have that within their treasurer system on Tyler, but if you were to go in, the treasurer's office can tell you how much value and how much revenue is actually going to TURA on your particular property.
But, you know, I'm using mine as an example, I
Right.
said, but I can't remember how many parcels are included.
About
on-
1,400.
Yeah, on that schedule. And a lot of them actually, I think I went through one and looked and say, okay, this one shouldn't be. But, you know, I guess there's no way to determine what.
There is not, because TIF increments are, we have to follow the law, but they are not, they don't apply to every county. Not every county has a TIF. So that is something that the county, we would probably, if we wanted it, we would probably have to apply to Tyler to have it built for us. And I don't know how cost effective that would be.
Right.
But at the time, there isn't a report that we can
So
generate.
they just use their analytical information to bring it percentages and say, okay, so.
Whatever your increment, here's the total, here's the increment, and this is what gets diverted to the URA.
Don't say diverted.
Well, it gets, not, diverted's not the right, but it
Say
gets
awarded to.
awarded to the URA.
It sounds nice.
Is awarded to the URA.
And the Tyler Technologies programs cost a lot of money annually to
Yeah, I'm
each
sure.
office.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
And we budget for that for them and then their budget, so they're doing an additional piece to it. I don't know if that's something we can maybe look at. If we had a lot more urban renewal activity, then I definitely would see the benefit for that for Los Angeles County, for the city of Trinidad. But maybe it's something the board can look into and.
I mean, currently, I pay over $300,000 just for my portion of Tyler.
Well,
So we are looking, it would not be cheap. for
Oh, no,
them
I'm sure
to-
not. I mean, it's when we're, you know, and in the end, is it, what's the return on investment?
What's the return on investment?
It may not, you know, but it would
Right.
say be helpful from this end to sort of.
I
But
understand,
there's not, I guess, you know, nice, but not very easily possible.
right.
Commissioners,
Any other
is there any questions for,
I have no
yeah,
questions.
you guys are.
I hear this
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
you
time.
guys, are pretty,
This is a
pretty well
broken
networked.
record.
So, yeah, so, you know, it is. Commissioner Heck.
Well, this is fairly Greek to me, so I'm just taking it in.
Well, that works. You call my office, stop by and see me anytime. I'm more than happy to help educate.
Okay.
I just decided I will not complain about my update with QuickBooks anymore.
I feel your pain and I agree.
And I want to thank you for coming, and I apologize for being late.
Not a problem. I thought I was going to be late.
No, but anyway, yeah, I'll be like Commissioner Heck there and say that I think we're in good hands with whatever decision we come up with here. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
And just on a side note too, I think, I don't know if we had that discussion with you yet or not, possibly working out the county and urban renewal of coming up with an agreement down the road for, what was it that they mentioned at that meeting we had, the work session here at the hotel. It was county and city agreements and stuff like, or urban renewal agreements for possible administrative fees to large projects for the tracking of that through the treasurer's office when they get large projects going on like they do in Pueblo and stuff like that. So I think Paul Benedetti did mention that, or somebody did.
Yeah,
That,
well, yeah, if we do get into large projects, and we've got one that we have to discuss, there will have to be individual tracking,
Mhm.
because it's one where, you know, if they're entitled to a reimbursement of TIF,
Yes.
that one, we can't go through general, theirs will be specific, so, in something like that, but it, you know, it wouldn't involve a lot, it's just a matter of whatever the assessment comes up with and the determination of the TIF is going to be, and we are contractually obligated to do that on what that project
On the
right
one.
now. And so it would just be a matter of setting it up and then getting it sent to a special account so it can be, the distribution can happen when they requisition it.
Right.
Yeah, and for accounting purposes too, I think Donna and all the, in the end of the year, accounting and stuff like that, you need to be held accountable and
Yes.
the audit would be done properly, so.
Because when we do our certifications for the county, there is a back page that actually goes to the state that is nothing but how much increment and revenue goes to the URA. So that does get reported and figured.
So, anyway, I had that conversation with Mr. Dorenkamp, and he's supposed to be getting with you guys. I don't know if he has yet or not.
Well, hopefully assessors will be instrumental and something will happen and we'll see the 80K.
I am praying that they listen to us. I really contemplated if HH did not pass, I was turning in a letter of resignation on Wednesday morning. But
And we wouldn't have seen you here tonight.
no, I just said, I'm out. Meet me at McDonald's. But we will see. We're a feisty bunch of assessors. We have a lot of many years of knowledge and experience, and I'm hoping we can help guide this in a good direction. We want to help our constituents. We know values increase. We just need to be able to have something that is workable and something that can function and be implemented. So we shall see. My grandmother always used to say, be careful what you wish for.
Well, we thank you for your time.
You're
I know you have a busy schedule.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Anytime.
thank you. And you're welcome back anytime.
Let me
One
know.
more meeting.
Yeah.
That's okay. This is an easy meeting.
Yes.
Everybody have a wonderful
Thank you.
weekend.
We appreciate
Have a
you.
good Veterans Weekend.
Thanks.
See you later.
Thank
See you
you.
Monday. Because tomorrow we're closed.
Yeah, oh, I know. I'm headed for football tomorrow.
Nice.
Have fun.
So
Good.
ittle be good.
Thanks, Yuri.
Thank
Say hi to
you.
everybody. Item number 2, tonight we have City Manager Steve Luger present. He's had a pretty long week as well, and
Always a long week.
Yeah, you
Every
had
week's
a long,
Every week.
a long night last night and stuff, so
Yeah.
we'll try to condense it, so we got.
No worries.
you
Glad
got
to be
things
here
to
with
do,
you guys.
but we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I communicated with you, and I provided you some information, one of the things that we need to talk about, I don't know to what degree, but one of the Commissioner Hollett, who we did talk in the past, because I've provided as much documentation and all the information that I can that's been memorialized in the past. We do have a cooperation agreement with the City of Trinidad, and that cooperation agreement originally came into being because, I'll repeat what I said here a month ago, in the beginning stages, we came in, our existence began with like $1,500 for a piece of land that we sold. And we had a very minimal, not paltry, budget. And so until we started collecting TIF and going forward, and again, we graced by the City of Trinidad because we were granted monies and opportunities for land sales that has put money into our coffers, up to and including the nice opportunity today. But one of the things that cooperation agreement is, and I'm just saying for everybody's information, because you're well aware of what it is and what they're for, is it allows us to use this facility. It allows us to use the city staff, certain city staff, and it was delineated in the very original agreement that we could be assisted by city staff, and that was a time that we needed it and had no money to pay for it. Times have evolved to evolved into something else. We can't do those things, obviously we did it with the utilization of an attorney to accomplish the Hughes sale. But I guess we need to consider, Steve, a more contemporary or updated that has some specification of what we're getting to do and what we're some specificity to where I think I used the terminology in our last meeting and it didn't go over well with everybody, but to get it more currently dated. And maybe that not being the right terminology, but maybe to get some firm terms and conditions in there so that we know it and we say it is a current and living document.
Absolutely, and I think it's always appropriate to revisit these types of agreements from time to time. And as you evolve, as we evolve, we certainly want to look at what's working, what's not working, what are the lessons learned, and is there anything that we need to work on amendment-wise, or even look at just doing a fresh agreement at this point. So happy to have those conversations with you all, and I think TURA is a win-win for City of Trinidad and for what you all try to accomplish for our residents, and I wish I had the budget to provide more staff and more resources to you all. I did work for Aurora, and I'm very good friends with their Urban Renewal Authority Director, Andrea Amanok, and she was a city staff member. So jealous that they have that support. But on the flip side, so proud of you all for understanding the concepts, taking the time to learn, and do the good work that you're doing.
Thank you, Steve.
Of course.
Yeah, so if we can, you and I can at some point
Yeah,
meet
let's-
and put that together, and I can bring it back to TURA.
Yeah.
It's worked well. I guess
Yeah.
for lack of any other or alternative wording, it's worked well.
Yeah.
We get to use this facility,
Yeah.
and as time has gone on, since we have not had an executive director, I've
Yeah.
tried to do the administration and do things on TURA. I've been as budget conscious as I could possibly be, and
Yeah.
made sure that things happen. But again, appreciative of what we are allowed to do by the city, and I think what we have does work well. And if there's some tweaking to be done, or get some specifics in there, we can do it. But I think if we can model it based upon where it's been and just make some specifications, I think it will work. It's an understanding we can move forward,
Yeah.
and it'll be behind us.
And I think ancillary to that process, this would go to City Council for their approval to do any amendments to the agreement. But it's all, to me, that's a golden opportunity, especially with the recent election. I know we're not having a ton of changes on our council, but it's a good opportunity for you all to come do an update, remind the council of what you do, what you're here for, and provide that opportunity for them to hear directly from you. So I think we can accomplish all of this as part of the process.
Great.
Cool. Any other questions for me about the city, the election, anything else going on? We're all trying to get some sleep at this point. But I'm very happy with the election results on the city council side. Congratulations to everyone who ran. It was a good race, and I was thrilled to see the interest we had from our town. I think there was a lot of various reasons why people were running for office. But I think that we're going to have a council that's going to keep us on the trajectory that we're going on and continue our good work. We're starting our strategic planning process next week. Our consultant will be in town, and we'll begin interviewing elected officials. We'll expand that out to other people. I would imagine at some point between now and February, our consultant will get with you all because you're such an important leg to how we move forward in the next 5 years and what we want to accomplish. Certainly you all have a component in that. So I'm excited to do that. We also are finalizing right now, we're still getting results back. We're doing the National Community Survey. So if you live in Trinidad, you may have gotten selected to complete the survey. So if you did, hopefully you were able to complete that. It's a national survey that this company Polko, it used to be through ICMA, the City Managers Association. Now it's this research company called Polko. They do this survey for hundreds, if not thousands, of communities across the country. And it's a set of standardized questions, I believe total 106. And so we can benchmark how we're doing in terms of the public perception and what their needs and desires are based on what other communities are saying about their community. So it's a very powerful tool for us to do some analysis and think, okay, this is where we're falling short. This is where we need to prioritize resources. The brilliant thing about it is a statistically valid survey. So there's a random sample that's selected through MVD records, I believe, and also postal records. And so they try to capture anybody who's a resident in town and has an address here, and they'll do a random sampling of that. We hope for a certain return rate, and typically you'll have a margin of error of plus or minus 5%. So it's a very accurate survey, and I think it's gonna be a powerful tool for us. We are moving forward with a ton of city projects. Hopefully you guys have had an opportunity to drive on First Street. I think it looks beautiful. Can't wait till it's done. We're doing a lot of bells and whistles above and beyond what we originally planned, especially around the courthouse. So I'm so excited to see that coming to fruition. We'll do a beautiful new retaining wall at our police station. So we're very fortunate. We also are working on a grant right now with DOLA for redevelopment of the Holy Trinity, the convent basically in the school. Mr. Chimino wants to develop some housing out of it. But the grant we're applying for now pays for infrastructure improvements. So it's very likely we'll get the grant and we'll be able to put about $3 million into rehabilitating Church Street and restoring it back to brick as well. So I'm so excited to think about Church Street, First Street, brick, historic, and then we also have a consultant helping us right now with a complete redesign of Main Street from I-25 almost to commercial. And we want to restore that back to as beautiful of a corridor as we possibly can. So those are just some of the highlights. There's a million other things going on, but excited that we got the Hughes Lumber Building all taken care of today. So that's off of our plate. Now we just have to get our stuff out of there. And we'll work on that. But I'm excited for what's to come with you all, with the city, and I just couldn't be more optimistic about our future. So any other questions for me, I'm happy to answer, and otherwise I thank you for all that you do.
I apologize for not making the raise grant meeting this
No,
morning if you were
it's okay.
on.
I
I
was.
couldn't be at two places. When I asked Andy to relay that, I was tired.
Yeah.
But I also, on a personal standpoint, I'm very happy with the election results.
Good.
Especially with the mayoral seat, because I think the relationship the county has
Good.
with the city council, predominantly with the mayor
Yeah.
position, will continue on the path it's going at this point in time with the selection.
I think so too.
We're looking forward to it, and,
Yeah. Good.
and thank you for what you do, appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I've been missing you.
I know. There's so much going on. Never be a city manager. I don't recommend it.
Well, actually, you got lucky, because you might have been in Denver this afternoon, right?
I was supposed to be at a party at Dana Crawford's house to raise money for the Fox, but I'm actually thrilled to be here with you guys instead. No offense to Dana, I
Be
love
driving
her,
in the
but
snow.
exactly. It's just so much more relaxing to be in Trinidad tonight, especially after this week. So
Yes. Thanks a lot.
thank you guys. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, item number 3, the Hughes update. Actually, the Hughes lumber building was sold today. Closing occurred today, and I did pass it around just as a just a verification that it happened. Copy of the check. So yeah, the Hughes building has closed. Just as an FYI, to let you know, Jerry, because you're going to be working as our liaison with what's going on. Tim Lamb indicated today, or advised at the meeting, that they have already begun, they've measured and ordering windows for the building. They will begin doing some stuff on the outside, but the inside can't really readily be addressed because the city has still a lot of their personal property within. So the city, they're gonna allow just a little bit of time so that they can remove the remainder of Christmas decorations, some, I can't remember what it was, but I did see it. There's a portion of the front end of the box theater, I think it's the marquee, that is all there. So it all has to be rehomed to somewhere else, whatever it is. So that will be the next step, but you know, there will be things happening, but not a whole lot. I did tell Tim Lamb in our discussion the other day that you would be in contact and we would be, you know, and so that'll happen, but that's what it is. It's closed. I will get with a representative of the city here in the next week or so we can reconcile all the bills and costs associated with it, being legal, publications, and whatever else. And then we can get it to next month's meeting so we can write a check to the city for their portion of the net.
So we get to keep it for a while?
We get to keep it for a while. And so we, actually, at least till Monday, it will be, because there's no bank or anything going on tomorrow. So that's where it is. It's been several months in the making, and unfortunately, the sale of public property does take that kind of time. But we got it there, it's done, so, you know, that puts us with some extra additional funds into our coffers so that we can use as we go forward for our operations and projects that we may be able to come up with. Commissioner?
I know that the heavy burden has been on you as far as that is concerned, so thank you Ed, for all that hard work.
You know what, it's actually, it's some work, but it's actually pretty interesting. It's interesting, you know, I mean, selling property is one thing, it's not that big of an adventure. But when it comes into the public realm, it's a little bit different, but luckily we had the assistance of Paul and Denny. And, you know, so it was, I mean, to him, that's second nature, that's something he does, but he saw it all the way through to the end, and it was nice to have his guidance, so it really worked well.
Yeah, that's great, and it helps us tremendously, helps the city, it's wonderful.
And one thing, and I might bring up, if anybody knows, trying to, the organization, the Kip Hadman, is trying to locate photos of what that building may have looked like in its original days, because they want to restore it back to that. And I think they mentioned it when they were here, but they want to restore it back to its original facade. The side, the south facing wall is original, but the front has been, over the years, has been changed. And I, you know, as old as I am, I don't remember what it was. And so,
Would Altman have something like that?
Well, there's a newspaper in business. So they'd be the ones that would probably.
they might, but it's difficult. We're trying to make contact, but if anybody happens to know where, yeah, the Altman was that, there's some Altman information available, but it's not been, cataloged, so it'd be a matter of going through.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a possibility, but if any,
Robert B. Hill.
I asked him,
Okay.
there's a tree in front of, he found some, but there's a tree in front of it.
Okay.
And they can't tell what it is. But Bobby did, I contacted him last week and he brought me what he could, but he said there's a big tree blocking the view. So if anybody does, it's just an FYI, that's something they can really use, because their intent is if they can't find what it is, they'll replicate it as close as they can with something in the historic district. Okay. Item number 4, public relations information, and we talked last month, Commissioner Howlett, and I forgot to mention, Commissioner Howlett did contact me earlier today indicating that he is ill today and not able to make the meeting or attend. So, you know, my fault for not saying it at the beginning, but he did let me know that he fallen ill and probably not a good place for him to be.
Yeah.
So that's, but anyway, at last month's meeting, we did discuss that Commissioner Howlett and Commissioner Heck would collaborate, and Commissioner Heck, I'll give that to you, because you already told me when you guys are handling it.
Yeah, I spoke to Commissioner Howlett, and we've been trying to get together, but my work schedule and his work schedule have not met yet. And then we spoke again today, and we said that next week we'll see if we can do it. It's just a matter of us syncing up, and then we'll try to provide a strategy so that at the next meeting, you know, we can discuss it and see what we want to do. That's where we are right now.
That's right.
Thank you.
Item number 5, Earth Mountain Education Farm. We have a lease in place with the, for the community garden down on the corner of Linden and White Avenue. We renewed it, it's been in place for several years, and we renewed it in July of this year, and we short-termed it to take it to the 31st of December, and that way it would be in place, and the leasee and occupant wouldn't have to worry about that during, when we come to it either at planting season or growing season. They know that they'd have a lease agreement in place. We discussed that, we agreed to that when we renewed it in July. It is coming up on December the 31st. I think I did in the agenda packet, put in a lease agreement that will be valid for the calendar year 2024. Joni Steiner has joined us remotely. Good thing you decided remotely, Joni, because I think the weather may be changing out there a bit. Can you hear me very well?
Yeah, you know, we're pretty far up here, so we won't snow.
Yeah.
For sure.
So anyway, I provided you with a copy of it as well. Everything in it basically is the same, except with the change of dates. All the terms and conditions, up to and including the buck a month, are all the same. Is that agreeable with you?
Yes, that's agreeable, and I appreciate you guys putting this on the agenda, and we were definitely had a good season, so we'd like to renew for next year.
Okay. Commissioner Opus, any questions?
No, I just want to say thank you for your continuation of the gardening in the community and education for the youth and everything you guys, your program does. So thank you, Joni.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Heck?
I think it's a great program and just keep it going. We'll try to help whenever we can.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful program. And it looks so much better now. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike is doing a great job. Mike McDaniel's the manager down there. We have really strong volunteers, senior volunteers. We have young interns. Earth Mountain paid 12 high schoolers on our farm internship program this year. So we had 6 at the community garden and 6 on the new garden on Cedar Street. So that's a strong program. And it's also a location for useful public service for probation. So we do community service also. So there was over 700 pounds of food that came out of that lot this year, and it's going directly to families, and there's more gardeners, new gardeners coming in all the time, so it's been good. Yeah.
Great
Thank
program, and thank you for all you do, Joni. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate
Commissioners,
you.
any questions about the lease? Is it all understood? As I say, all it changes it is the dates to make it that one, the calendar year effective date.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the terms and conditions remain the same. Thank you, Joni. It's on our agenda for action tonight, but basically, I don't think there's any more questions. So, we'll take it forward, and then you and I will get together so you can sign it and we can finalize it and go forward.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Have a good
time.
night.
Thank you. Okay, item number 6, the facade improvement incentive program. The agreement was with TURA that we were going to open it up again for the year 2024. I did provide to everybody a copy of the program delineation or the details of it along with that application. I would like to have a full board here to discuss. I mean, we could take it forward. I think it works sufficiently as we had it in the years prior. I'd like, going forward, but I just want to make sure that, there's a full discussion on it, because I want to make sure that one of the last applicants that we had, there was a misunderstanding on their part about what it was for, and there were no qualification. But at the same time, I think there was a misunderstanding by commissioners at that time that maybe made it a little more difficult or put that applicant in a precarious position as far as things. So I want to make sure that when we go into it, that we're fully understood. That way, when we have applicants in front of us, these kinds of things don't happen, and it just makes it look good and works well for everybody. So it's there. I mean, and if anybody, you have any suggestions to change on it, we can do so. It's not, it's not that big, but it worked out, and any minor changes, if there's typos, if anything, but determine how we want to go with that. But I think we want to have absent members of the board that are not here tonight present, so that we can make sure that we there's a full understanding when we go forward, because when we open it, whether that's January or February, but I want to make sure that there's an understanding of it, so when the applicants come in, they're not put in a jeopardizing or a precarious position based upon not a full understanding of this side of the dais. All right.
I agree.
Item number 7, consultant services. In the past, we've used, and we actually used Ayers and Associates on various occasions, but 2 of them that are the most memorable are, one, we used them for the assistance in developing or for the sale of that property down on Cedar Street. They're the ones that put that together for us, and that's how that was accomplished. Secondly, they assisted in creation of the document for the facade improvement program. And so we have used them in the past. We did not use them during the calendar year, have not so far, although we have a contract with them, we have not used them so far in the year 2023. Do we want to consider doing that again? Do we need them at this point? I mean, we were able to accomplish the land sale with the services of the attorney. And so, you know, do we want to reinstitute? I gotta see first of all if they're interested in doing so. You know, they may or may not want to renew it, if that's a course of action, but, you know, what is commission's, what are your opinions on it?
I'll go first. My opinion is to keep that agreement in place. It's better to have the tools in the toolbox and not need them than not have it and you do need it. I know we use Paul Benedetti for a lot of things as well. Their rates are a lot less expensive if we don't need an attorney on that versus Mr. Benedetti. So we can have options to choose on certain projects if we can utilize their services or we need the attorney. So I think it's better to have that at our disposal.
I agree with Commissioner Lopez. It's not costing us anything to have them on board. If we need them, we have, if they're willing to do it, then we have them. If not, then we have to rely more on the attorney, which we would. But if it doesn't cost us anything, why not?
I think it's a good idea to keep them on board.
Well, I will contact Mike Scholl and the Aaron's and Associates, and if they're interested in doing so, if not, then we'll have to consider something else. But like I say, we didn't require them. You know, we had an attorney that we began with, and that made it. But doesn't mean that there aren't other things they can't do, won't do it. Including like the facade document, they're the ones that assisted in creating that. So, you know, we have used them, and we used them for land sale. So I will contact them and see if they are interested in continuing, and maybe we'll probably have that in for consideration on the December agenda. Item number 8, items for future work session discussion. Anybody have anything?
Filling the vacant seat. We haven't really had a discussion with the city to advertise it, to move forward, or have we?
They do, they continually run those, because with all the boards and commissions that have it, those are on there, and we are on there.
Okay, so we don't have to have formal.
No, and I think there's something on the website, the City of Trinidad website, that alludes to that as well.
Well, in our discussion before the meeting actually happened, you mentioned that we should try to put the word out ourselves, which I think is a great idea, to let people know, because we know best, not me personally, because I'm still a new guy, but we know best what goes on, and if we can recruit somebody that can do the job, that works.
Yeah, that's a concern of mine, because we need to do that. And so there's one thing I need to mention in there. As we're recruiting, because of the ordinance that has reestablished or urban renewal, that person will have to be a resident within the city of Trinidad. Okay, the ordinance allows or requires that at least 5 members be residents within the city of Trinidad. So you guys constitute membership, but you sit outside the corporate limits. So if we maintain the ordinance, and I will verify that with Audra, but I'm very familiar, I look at those from time to time, but it does, the reestablishing ordinance does say that the makeup of the board will be with at least 5 residents of the city of Trinidad. It's not saying anything derogatory if you live outside, but that's the way the ordinance was written. If they want to rewrite it, well, that would be different, but that's the way it is. So we would be looking to fill, and I'll verify that with Audra, but my reading of the ordinance is that it requires at least 5 members to be within the corporate limits.
So it would be best if we did recruit somebody that could fill that seat as soon as possible.
Yes.
Unless they throw Luis and me off the board.
No, you gotta. Don't do anything wrong. Don't do anything against what's considered proper and we got it made. That will be the ongoing thing, and hopefully, like I say, there's, everybody has acquaintances out there and knows people, and some of them, unless it's, brought up, and I'm probably as lacking as anybody, I haven't brought it up to the right people, but there may be somebody out there that maybe they know I'm not the direct contact, but they may know somebody. So, there are people out there that, may be looking to serve on a board and commission, but have never been approached or are very interested. So, it's a good deal. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Anything else we'd like to bring up? If not, it is 6:15 p.m. Today is November the 9th, 2023. This is the regular meeting of the Urban Renewal Authority of the City of Trinidad. Roll call, please.
Bagley,
Here.
Hess,
Here.
Howard, Leone,
Here,
Lopez,
Here.
Grego.
Here. Item number 2, approval of the minutes for the meeting of October 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
I will second that.
Commissioner Bailey with the motion for approval, with Commissioner Leone a second. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Bagley,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes,
Lopez,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item number 3, acceptance of the financial report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Lopez with a motion.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Heck with a second for the approval. Everybody was provided it. Our year-to-date, at the end of October, our TIF revenues, $19,180. Our ending balance in the bank, in the operating and general account, $347,035. Project account, $2,468. And when I mentioned the TIF, it would be so nice if that,
Yes.
any portion of that 80K could be a reality into the future, but not being so. Again, we're pretty stable with ours, and although our reliance is on that, luckily we've had a couple of other revenue sources. So going forward, we'll do something. Any further questions, comments? Roll call.
Bagley,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Leone,
yes,
Lopez,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item number 4, consideration of bills. First one for consideration is an invoice from the Chronicle News, the amount of $22.12, and that is for the legal publication for the budget hearing that we will have in new business.
make a motion.
Commissioner
That we
Leone.
pay the Chronicle News $22.12.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Leone with the motion, Commissioner Hecht with the second. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Bagley,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes,
Lopez,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item number 4B, consideration of payment to Paul Benedetti for legal services in the month of October 2023, the amount of $450.
I make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Bailey with the motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Hecht with the second. Questions, comments?
Well deserved.
Yeah, and I will put all of his billings together with any associated costs and charges that we have for the Hughes Lumber Company. I will be discussing that with probably, I think Steve Luger suggested the finance director. And there'll have to be one more because I'm gonna make sure that not only the numbers balance, but the fact that they approve of the expenditures that were made. So that being the case, roll call.
Bagley,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Leone,
yes,
Lopez,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item number 5, petitions or communications, oral or written. Is there anybody in the audience or anybody attending via GoTo meetings that would like to address Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. I will ask a second time, is there anybody in the city audience or anybody attending via go-to meetings that would like to address or make comments to the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority? Let the record reflect that no one has come forward. Item number 6, old business, none of record. Item number 7, new business. Item A, public hearing for the 2024 budget. Hearing is now open. The notice of hearing was placed in the Trinidad Chronicle News and published on October the 27th, 2023, indicating that we would have that budget hearing this evening, and the information was posted on the website for the City of Trinidad, and the postings as required in the front lobby. And so I have received no comments from anybody in the public so far. So if we have anybody here this evening, is there anybody in the city audience or go-to meetings that would like to say anything? Let the record reflect that no one is making comment. Although anyone can and may object or make comment to me prior to its final passage, which will be in our December whatever meeting, second Thursday in December.
Already programmed it.
All right. Okay. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments regarding?
Thank you for getting this done, Ed.
Yeah, thank you.
The discussions we've had, everything is exactly what we had discussed, and nothing's changed, so thank you.
In conjunction with what the assessor had stated, if the legislature and governor finagle with this, do we have to change our budget?
No. We went conservatively into this budget, and we like with her discussion, we're using an $18,000 number, assuming that's coming in. The rest of it is money that we have in our account. So if there's a variable there, I'm assuming that we should be not affected. Did that with the assumption that possibly Proposition HH might have been successful. And so therefore, 18,000, which is not a big amount of money, but it's money that we're obligated to answer for. So if it comes in any greater than that, I mean, it's a plus for us. But you know, that 18,000 is actually based upon, and Jody and I had a conversation about 3 months ago talking about what might happen, and you know, at that point, he was thinking it was going to be flat with last year's. So this is like with flat. So there should be no unless they decide to really do something, you know, drastic, that shouldn't be affected. So you know, those numbers are really at a worst case scenario anyway.
All right.
Commissioner Leone?
No comment.
Okay then, well, we will bring this next month's meeting. It'll be for the final passage and adoption of that budget that we will use for the year 2024. Budget hearing is now closed. Item number 7B, consideration of the lease renewal with Earth Mountain Education Farm Incorporated. We heard from Joni. She's the accepting of it. I provided everybody with a copy and notation that the terms and conditions remain the same. Dates have been adjusted to have a calendar year effective date and termination date. Motion?
Motion to approve the lease renewal of Earth Mountain Education Farm Incorporated.
I will second that.
Commissioner Lopez with the motion to approve. Commissioner Leone with a second. Questions, comments, roll call.
Gregory,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Grego.
Yes. Item number 8, report by Executive Director, Urban Renewal, Trinidad Urban Renewal, Courtney Haslam, as the chairman. I transact business as authorized by the board, and I have nothing to report except what you said. Commissioner Lopez. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner, item number 9, reports by Commissioner. Commissioner Lopez, got ahead of me.
Well, thank God the HH did fail, number one, from a county perspective. And from a state perspective, and all the districts have been detrimental for the funding, and also for the Tabor relief that would have been disappeared forever. You wouldn't have seen it ever again. So I'm glad that failed. I was approached recently with the new election of city council, that if the county commissioners would re-entertain a work session on Cougar Canyon. We have not determined that at this point, and I don't know if we want to at this point, so it'll be a discussion in the executive session at our next board meeting to see what the county, after the first of the year with the changes at city council. So that's all I got.
Mr. Hecht? Mr. Lopez? I mean, Bailey, right?
We're all Lopeses.
There you go. It was real interesting that our city manager said that there was a lot of things going to happen, but we're never told what. Sometimes I think that would be interesting to know if there's things in the city that are going to happen.
Well, yeah, I guess that got by me, but yeah, I guess we could ask them to elaborate a little bit more, because the thing is, we've talked about it in here, if it's out there more, it gives people a more positive attitude.
You're right.
Yes.
And I'm speaking out of turn, I'll let you finish, and then when my
No,
turn comes.
exactly. It's like, I think that, I got excited about, and we have all these things going to happen, and I think that's great, but I think people need to know that they're going to happen. That's my opinion.
Sure. Commissioner Brady, and I want to add to that too, though.
I really don't have anything, but I would echo that. It would be nice. And of course, he was busy, we had a busy week and everything like that, but to have him come back would be probably a good thing, and just maybe that would be something we could have him elaborate on.
And there is an open invitation to him to be at any of our meetings, and if his schedule allows it, yeah, I would like him to be here. But I want to elaborate just a little bit, I want to comment on you, because I think that would be very, very helpful and favorable, because it was very visible and pretty audible out there during the election that a lot of people, candidates and supporters, are saying they want to see change. They want to see these things, and maybe if that information was out there, Trinidad is moving forward. Things are happening in Trinidad and Los Animas County, and sometimes not all that it's not out there. But if it's made known, it's not that it's not happening, and the ire and the concern and sometimes disrespect of those people would maybe be brought down a couple of levels, because there are things happening. It's not, but I guess the availability of the information may create that by people that are concerned, and I understand that. But maybe it's one where the cries for change, or the desires for change, is maybe because they're not seeing things happening. And if you don't see it or don't have the expectations, that's what might create it. And so at a time when there's elections going on, that could probably be really helpful, because people understand that, yeah, things are happening, but yeah, I agree with you.
I know when Kelly was here, she would keep us up with what was going to happen and what was going on. And I thought that was very helpful, even to us, to know.
So having a liaison back in
Yes,
place might be nice.
That's a point I'm thinking when those positions are refilled, because there are some vacant positions that have to happen. And I'm hoping they'll reestablish in one of those positions a liaison to at least be here to get us there. I don't think that the city has the resources to provide us with the director, so that's still going to be our responsibility and our charge, but we can make it happen. And I don't, at this particular point, although there's a lot we're gonna have a lot more happening, we're still not deficient, we're still alive. In the cases of where, there are areas, there are other URAs that exist, but they're not even meeting monthly. They're not even conducting meetings. And we have basically only missed a couple of meetings since the inception of Urban Renewal, and it was only as a result of unknowns because of coronavirus. And therefore, there was like 2 months in there that we couldn't meet, because there was the big question mark. And so with the advent of Zoom or GoTo meetings, things got to happen. But we have not, we basically have met every month since 2015, with the exception only of, we've had some reschedules, but the only meetings that were ever not conducted was as a result of the turmoil and, not being able to enter the building and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, we've continuously held meetings, and I think our organization is organized. And there are some, like I say, there are some that have URAs, but they're not even conducting monthly meetings. Anybody else?
I'll give you a quick update. You want updates?
Yes, I
The
know.
courthouse renovations is moving into stage 3 with the heating and air conditioning updates. We have been working with CU's Denver students on the outside of the property, being a gardens, beautiful lush flowers, dry vegetation, low water yield. And that has been implemented and moving forward, has been budgeted for. And it'll be an education piece outside the courthouse as well with some sort of information there to tell you what the landscape is, what the flowers are, what the vegetation is. And there will also be an archway on one side of the building with flowers and whatever. I don't know, I'm not you would know more than I would. That will be constructed for photo opportunities for those that are getting married to the courthouse, for adoptions, for special occasions, even for folks to come and just take pictures of. So the entire outside of the building, completely around the whole building will be lush and beautiful. So be looking for that for bids. If your business is interested, any businesses out there to bid on it, I think we budgeted $190,000 for this. It's gonna be a very, very, very neat.
Can I make a comment on that? Please remember, anybody in town that can bid on this, that most of the growers start growing in January. I will have my order in by the end of January, because I order mine in. Trees have already been ordered.
Okay.
It's like,
So for advertising, so sooner than later?
yes,
Okay. I will let Mr. Burke know that.
yes.
So, I'm sorry, I just wanted to give you some good news, also what's happening in the community.
That's great.
And it
Looks-
is
looks
good
awesome.
news. And that's a beautiful building.
That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's looking nicer on it.
And for the employees that work there for years to come, they'll finally have some comfort in the summer, and in the winter it will be regulated heat and air conditioning. That's all.
Good, thank you. Anybody else? Well, we're at item number 10, who's got a motion?
So moved. To adjourn.
I will second that.
Motion by Commissioner Lopez and second by Commissioner Bailey for adjournment, 6:30 PM. I'm sorry, 6:32 PM. If there are no dissenting votes, we will call this meeting adjourned at 6:32 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.